The reason why this exhibition is very different than that, this stuff happened in a different spirit. When this stuff started happening, I needed to make a switch. I needed to make a change because I'm dealing with maybe depression. And it's like, how do you move out of several spaces? So what I found myself doing is doodling, making what I call doodle quilts, just sewing stuff together. That's what this piece is. I'm finding myself just like sewing. I'm finding bits and pieces from other quilts. And the thing is growing. I don't know where it's going. I really don't. Like, I took a felting class here. And some of you know what felting is. Felting, and this was supposed to be the scarf. And some of the people working here, like Maria and Devana, was telling me, Ellen, well, where is a scarf? I'm like, I would never wear this as a scarf. It's pretty, but I never wear this scarf. It's just not gonna happen. So then I'm like, I'm just gonna put this thing up. Donna just gave me this nice runner as a gift. I looked at this fabric and I thought immediately, I can cut this up. And then she says, I'm gonna use a runner. But if you want to cut it up, you can. I'm like, I just looked at it as fabric. And this was the same way too. Also, in the process of doing this, I was cutting fabric and cutting shapes. I just needed to cut shapes out. And it was random, just random shapes. So that's why you get these kinds of shapes. And I'm just cutting paper, I really am. And this is a non-woven material, and it was white. I just painted up, I just spurt paint all over. I happen to use a lot of golden paint. It's some of the best paint made. And I just squirt it over there, I ball it up, and I just do like that. It's like a tissue paper. And then I iron it out. I put double stick adhesive on the back that irons right onto it. And then I just cut. I cut. That's what I do, I cut. And I have thousands of these things. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating. I got hundreds of them. I might have thousands of them. But thousands of them. Yes. Hundreds of thousands. These are shapes. And I thought I'd put some in here to show you the randomness of these shapes. And then, after I get all these shapes, I started just like tacking them on in different things. And this was, and so this one, I was thinking about movement. I'm like, okay, this is called Afro movement. And then I'm like, okay, I did that one first. And I like the way I made all of the leaves go this way. I said, yeah, I can make all of these go this way. Okay, I'm just having fun. And what do I do with the other space that's happening? Oh, I see some hands in there. I like to do hands and just have fun. And then I had these like two things too. I'm like, belly buttons. I see that. So I gave it belly buttons. Hey. And other features. And then on these pieces here, it's just shapes. It's just shapes. And then I started just doing relationships randomly. They didn't mean anything. And then one day, Devana walks by, who was a program director at the time. She walks by and says, I like this. And then Donna came afterwards and says, this is different. I like this. I'm like, I think I like them too. This was the first one. I just like matching shapes together, randomly, just putting on strips. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking about what makes me happy. Just what makes me happy. Just cutting paper. That's what made me happy. That one over there, the light one. The same thing, just cutting paper. Then I just start gluing them down. Then I top stitch it. Then I put them in strips. I just assemble them randomly. And then I was getting happier and happier. I was in my joy. What I discovered is, now this is an interesting thing. This is what I discovered, was that sometimes they tell you to go back and find that child and nurture that child. What I discovered is getting to that child, that little girl helped me find myself again. That little girl showed me how to play again. So I was actually playing, and if you ever see me working on these things, it's just like, oh, yeah. And then I started doing what I naturally do as a narrative artist. I started talking to them. I said, yeah, well, you need a friend, don't you? And you need this. So that piece right there, then they started turning into animals. And those animals started having personalities. And some started turning into definite like flowers and things like that. So as things moved further on, the shapes did get very definite. That was not my intent in the beginning, because the pieces started talking to one another, because my brain can't stop talking, and the narrative always keeps coming. So then, this piece, I also found out that in doing my DNA thing, Ancestry.com, a lot of the region my family is from is Nigeria. I thought it was Ghana, because when I was visiting Ghana, I was hanging out with the Asante people, and I said to them, Dog Asante. It's an Asante now. You're Fanti, you look like the Fanti people. I went to the Fanti area, which is around the Cape Coast area. I asked Asante, what the Fanti people? Do I look Fanti? They're like, you look Fanti. Yes, you do look like you're Fanti. I'm like, I found my ethnic group. I don't use the word tribe. Speaking of, the groups of Africans. Ethnic groups, it's just like in terms of dealing with Italians and things like that, and the Irish and English like that, so I don't call tribes, So, but yeah, I thought I found my people until I did the DNA. They're telling me that I am mostly from the Nigerian region. So I started studying mask in the Igungu mask of this area, and in which this would be generally I'm thinking of as a mask, and that's why this piece is called Masquerade. And when the spirit embodies this fabric, these things fly around, like that piece there, just flies around, it's just flapping all over the piece, because the spirit takes over this fabric. Translation, a person is under there moving as the spirit guides them, okay? But really, it's really a spirit, okay? So and those things will fly out. And that is kind of an example of what will be happening, these things flapping around. So that came out of this joy. Then, I also remember doodling, remember? I like to doodle. I like children's books. I always think about children's books. I like children's book monsters. I read Wild Things Are and other kinds of things. So I don't know where this piece developed from. It just started growing. It just started coming. I didn't have a point of view. I really didn't. Also what I do is, when I'm working with pieces like this, I always work with a pattern. Even with these pieces too, they all have patterns. I actually work that big. And I just started drawing. I did not find a large overall, but it was actually a drawing in which I draw the whole thing out. And then I start to work out several of the things that I want to work out. And I didn't know how large this piece was going to be at all. And then there's some things I'm thinking about. And I was going to put like this feather, like circle thing in the middle of this thing, like roughly thinking about like a third eye kind of deal, it's all these kinds of things that you have in your head. And then I found that lacy piece of fabric in which on Star Trek, all those things, neon things, they got that like that crab thing. Yeah, but that's like a nice lacy version of it. So you know what I mean? Like you're playing with all these ideas that are fun for you, like the jagged teeth, this nose, the eyes, and the colors, and pushing the colors and things like that. It's like, I never made a hot pink background before. And when I think of that, I think of my mother, because I'm thinking like every time I wear that color around my mother, she gets excited. She tells me I'm dressed up just because I had that color on. And that pink is my mother's color. It's one of my mother's colors. She liked those bright colors on me. this is my normal type of dress. And every time she saw me in this, in all black, she would say, "You going to a funeral?" I'm like, "Mom." And she's been knowing me all my life. But this is what she always said to me, but she knows. So that's how that happened. And I just wanted to have fun. That there is a self-portrait of me because I love the masquerade. I love to dress up. I love when we were all wearing masks. I love showing up in my mask. And people recognize my eyes, but yet they claim not to know who I am. And I like people sometimes not knowing who I am. And that is good because everybody likes to want to place me here and don't I know who's here and things of that sort. And I'm like, no, you don't know me. Also, I throw some history in it also. Broken shields. This piece is called Broken Shield. Why? I do have some quotes up here. Unearthed broken shields, eulogizing brave warriors. Ghosts will not forget. Unearthed broken shields. Yeah. I think the more and more we find out about Africa and where we come from, the more and more we understand the intelligence of Africa and that basically intelligence started there, that there were a lot of knowledge that we attribute to other civilizations, which of course started in Africa. And we don't know that because that information has not been unearthed yet. And yet, I'm also thinking that people came with guns and we had these shields. So therefore you got these broken shields of dead warriors. Exactly. And then you're saying that ghosts do not forget. And this was the last piece that I was working on part of the school. And anybody that knows me understands that I love insects. I love insects. And the praying mantis is probably one of my favorite insects. Sometimes I play this God game. This God game is like, if I was a goddess, would I have created praying mantis? And I play these games like, if I had the power, or if I was the creator, what would I come up with? So I enjoy playing those kind of games. And I think of this person here almost as an avatar for myself. And an afro, I used to wear an afro in the 70s. I never could get it that big. So, yeah. And also working that I'm always making the decisions on how I use materials. This also was, like I said, I always start with the drawing. And I'll be honest with you, I knew I wanted to do a figure. I knew I wanted to do something with a bird. And I just kept on drawing and drawing. And the thing is my work, some of the pieces have a spirit, and it actually talks to you. Sometimes I work with some of the women, and they actually talk, and they give me a lot of feedback back. I mean, actually speak to me on some type of level, and it tells me, don't use that fabric, or you're going to cut that favorite fabric. You know that piece you got from Africa that you told you something you never want to cut? You're going to use it in me. And I'm like, what? And it has happened several times. And there has been some pieces I worked on that I'm running out of deadline. And the piece is talking to me. It tells me, oh, it's okay. It's okay. I said, you know, I'm going to do this and this and this. I want to add a skeleton to you. I want to do this and that and that and this and this. And it says, it's okay. This work never talked like this. This work just allowed me to sit in it. And that was so that I could hear me inside. And this also did the same thing too. I talked to it. It didn't talk to me back. It just let me find it. And that was just like an interesting experience. And then all I was doing was like designing it. And I'm also working with, and this is what I actually do. I put it on the floor, I work around it, I draw it, I'm looking at the scale of it. I tend to like big hands and small heads. When I was in high school art class, my art teacher told me, no. When I was in undergraduate college at Tyler College of Art, my drawing teacher told me, you elongate the figure. And I'm like, I started looking at my work, I do elongate the figure. Then I went back to my high school art teacher and I said, you never told me I elongated the figure. I'm like, what's up with that? He says, that's your style. That's who you are. I was not going to take that from you. That's you. It's like you already have the style. One thing about being an editor, a photo editor, at a newspaper is that you get to look at a lot of people's work, and there's some photographers that you will hear them say, oh, wow, that's a great picture. I look at it and I'm like, they think that's a great picture because that's the way they were talking. What you have to do is when you are working with interns, you have to understand the way they see. And sometimes you're looking at the paper and you're like, who took this picture? I don't know who took this picture. This is a revision. You have to see that. And that's what you nurture in that intern, in that person. You have to understand the way they see the world in order to help them to grow and then come into their own. So when my high school teacher told me that he was going to take something from me that was mine, I understood. And I understood that. And I think that that is what joy has given back to me, is to kind of center again and to find me. So are there any questions? And thank you.